Today's devotional is entitled The Sidelines or the Field. The sidelines have a purpose. It is the place that we go when we need to get that breather, or when we need more direction from the coaches, or where we go to cheer on our friends, family, and coworkers. Where we go when we see what we need to, where we go to see where we messed up, where we did well, or just even better ourselves when we're not in the action. You see, the sidelines are very important because every sporting event has them. Jobs have them to a degree. I mean, let's put them off to the sidelines. Let so-and-so actually do the work. And we even see them in family functions. You see, they are important, but we're not made to live on the sidelines permanently. That we're only supposed to be there briefly to catch our breath and then go back into the action. Because we want to be made to be we are made to be on the field. That we want people to see us doing the things that we're made to do, to inspire others on the sidelines to come into the action as well. You see, the disciples were on the playing field after Jesus chose them, and they were in the action doing amazing things, spreading the gospel, inspiring others to join into the action. And see, Jesus even sends out his disciples to do wondrous things. We see in Mark chapter 6, verse 7, it says, "And he called the 12 and began to send them out 2 by 2 and gave them authority over the unclean spirits." You see, we see that Jesus has been training his disciples to be the messengers for Jesus, to cast out demons, to heal the sick. And I can tell you that if I was a disciple, I would be so pumped to know that I was going out into the world, no longer stuck on the sidelines, but into the action, right? That they'd been witnessing the miraculous things that Jesus has been doing, from casting out demons to healing the sick to even raising the dead. The disciples had seen it all and were excited when Jesus calls them off the sidelines. But see, what's really interesting though is the disciples are almost going to end up back on the sidelines. And I feel as though this might be the area where you and I even struggle with ourselves. You see, the disciples are thinking that the Messiah is someone totally different than what Jesus actually was. And to kind of give you a brief history lesson, the Messiah in Arabic means the anointed one, a savior or a liberator of the people. That the Messiah was going to be some amazing warrior king that was going to destroy Rome, to restore balance, so to speak. And see, the disciples knew that the Messiah was there to save the people. And it was written in Genesis 3, verse 15, it says, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, between the offspring and her offspring, and he shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." You see, God is speaking to the serpent after he offered the forbidden fruit to Adam and Eve. Genesis 3:15, Lucis. And thank you so much for that. It says, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring, and he shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." We see at the very beginning of time that God already had a plan for his people, and the disciples were excited to be in the presence of the Messiah. They thought that Jesus was going to be this amazing warrior king that would restore the balance to the worlds around them. But see, what Jesus did next not only surprised his disciples, but is a challenge that you and I are to do daily. That this audible that Jesus called on the field at the moment completely changes the game for you and I. And in Mark chapter 8, verses 34 through 38, we get this audible. And he says, and calling the crowd to him with his disciples, he said to them, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's will save it. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and to forfeit his soul? For what can a man give in return for his soul? For whoever is ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him will the Son of Man also be ashamed when he comes into the glory of his Father with the holy angels." Now, I can tell you right now that if you are in that moment, these are not the inspiring words that they even expected. So imagine though if they were in a game, if they were down at the game and it was halftime, and Jesus was trying to pep them up, and you're expecting to hear, "They're tired. Continue the assault. We got them on their tails. Let's go, go, go." And instead you get a deny yourself. To follow me means that we're going to be down even more, but it's the way we have to go. Follow me by denying yourself daily. And I'm sure that while Jesus tells us the people, you can even hear a pin drop, the collective air taken away from the people as they realize what Jesus is telling them. Deny yourself daily, take up your own cross, and follow me. You see, the call of discipleship is the call that we're all going to be asked at some point in our lives. This means that we follow Jesus to be willing to die to the things of this world and to surrender to God. To take up the cross means standing up when the world makes fun of you, when you feel as though you are all alone on a moral stance, when fear is all around you. To take up your cross daily means that you deny yourself the desires of this world, that you take an active role in the choices that you make, and it means that we're created to serve others, to live a life of selflessness, not selfishness. You see, Paul tells us in Philippians 1 verses 20 and 21, it says, "As it is my eager expectation and hope that I will not be ashamed, but that with full courage now as always Christ will be honored in my body, whether by life or by death. For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." See, Paul here says that no matter what comes his way, that this daily taking up of his cross moments that he finds himself in, that he will do that he will be an active participant in this life, not sitting on the sidelines, that he completely surrenders his life to the calling that Jesus gave to him and gives to all of us. The same calling that he gave his disciples, the Great Commission, to proclaim the gospel, to share to all corners of the world, to advance the kingdom. So as we step onto the field of life, we have an opportunity to be an active player, to showcase the skills and talents that God has given us, or we can shrink back to the sidelines, hoping that no one sees us and that we can blend in with the crowd and maybe eventually get the courage needed to be on the field. And see, my challenge to you is this: get on that field of life. Be the star, be the MVP. See, Psalms 119 verse 9 says, "How can a young man keep his way pure? By guarding it according to your word." We're able to be strong according to the word that we have by being the MVP on the field when we live a life of denying ourselves and taking up that cross daily. So guys, don't be on the sidelines. Be on that field. It's where we're meant to be. That is our devotional for today. Sidelines or the field.